3, 2, 1. Hey, we're back. We're live. Today's episode about the NAR lawsuit. I got here with me Luis Renteria.
Yeah, everybody give it up for Luis.
Hey, right. Luis from Loan Depot. I got Lawrence Gillen with us. Hey, Lawrence, how are you?
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Great, thank you.
Excellent. And I got Sandy Cisco with us too. From Compass. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys already know Luis and myself. If I can give the floor down to Sandy and Lawrence, can you guys please introduce yourselves and tell us what the hell you guys do?
Ladies first.
Oh, well, thank you. So Sandy Cisco with Compass. Been in business a little over 12 years and glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandy. And Senior Lawrence.
Lawrence Gillen with BRG Realty Corp. Been in the real estate industry since, gosh, do I dare say, 1995. So 29 years, specializing in single-family homes as well as manufactured homes, mobile homes, aka. Been doing that specializing in that for 18 years.
And you are the king of metal mansions, I believe. That's your nickname here in the Bay Area.
Somebody throws that around. It's not me, but you know, if they
I wouldn't do one. I would give it to you all day long.
Did you say metal mansions?
Metal mansions. That's right.
You know, the demand for them, it's incredible now.
Luis,
right?
It's incredible. He has a 2-story, right, that you have currently on the market. Or did you sell that one?
Yeah.
2-story.
Two-story.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insanity. Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, guys. So today we're here gathered together to witness the NAR lawsuit. And in a nutshell, let's just kind of discuss that real quick. NAR lawsuit is National Association of Realtors, and these guys got sued by some people, I think, in Minnesota, right? Is that right, Minnesota? Or some state starting with an M.
I think
Missouri is where it started.
No mistake. Yeah. So they got sued saying, hey, these guys are collaborating. Lawrence and Sandy are talking to each other about the commission they received, so forth and so on. They're collaborating, and we don't want them to collaborate anymore because I'm getting screwed in the deal. So now Lawrence can't share with Sandy how much commission he'll pay her to sell his house, and Sandy can't do that either. So that's kind of the gist of it, but it means a lot of things. And the big stuff that's coming down the pike is MLS services can no longer list the commissions that are being able to be offered for that home. And additionally, there's some buyer broker agreements. So similar to listing your house for sale, when you sign an agreement with somebody to sell your home, now you're going to sign an agreement with somebody to buy a home as that person who represents you. Am I saying this correctly?
Basically.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. And so with that comes some new rules about buyer representation. And what that means to you is you potentially are now on the hook for paying the fees that are associated with buying a home rather than the seller paying for those fees like they did before. But I think that's also in flux as well. There's going to be a lot of changes with that, but I think sellers can still pay for the home as part of their commission as they used to. Again, if you're a seller, you probably want somebody to buy your home, and you probably should offer some commission on that. I'm not sure, but that's probably the way I'm thinking about it, right? Any comments on that?
Go ahead, Sandy. I'll let you go first.
I was going to say all the comps right now are still based on comps of the properties that we're assessing for our clients. Most of those, and we can dissect it closer, but most of those are based on the seller offering 2.5%. So when we do comps and the seller isn't offering some commission or concessions, then we can try to resolve that issue with the contract, with the purchase contract. So it's going to be, it's new, although buyer broker agreements are not new. They've been around forever, and a lot of agents have been using them forever. So it's just a way to be able to retain our professional fee.
So Sandy, I have a question on that because you just mentioned that they're nothing new. Buyer broker agreement have been there forever. So what about those agents that have been using it? Because I know some agents that religiously, hey, sign here, and then I'll show you the houses. So how's it going to affect those agents?
It will not. They've got their they've got their buyer presentations nailed. They know how to talk to the buyers about it. It's the agents that haven't utilized this that are going to be stumbling and not knowing how to represent their value proposition. And I think that's the big thing, representing our value proposition. What do we bring to the table? How do we represent you? And why do we earn this? That's what the public wants to know.
Show me your value, right?
Yeah.
Show me what you bring to the table.
Well,
Exactly.
I think that you do it almost subconsciously, that you forget to present that value and show that value. I mean, it's all like, it's muscle memory, right? You just go and things happen. Well, they don't just happen. It's years and years of experience, right?
Correct.
So I think,
as well,
I think
too.
highlighting that is going to be great.
I do too.
Oh, it's going to make the top agents shine, and it's going to make the agents that need a little more experience get that experience. And it's just, I think it's going to be much better for the industry
I do too.
because it's going to make it more professional. Right now, a lot of people view realtors as used car salesmen. You know, they're not. It's not professional. They're not charging a professional fee. They're making so much money for doing nothing, not realizing when they're at their day job that they're getting medical insurance, they're getting all kinds of other things, they're getting days off. We don't. So anything we make is putting food on the table. It's paying our insurance. And we spend so much money on bettering ourselves for our profession to better ourselves for our clients.
Sandy, I think you forgot a big one. Taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wanted to kind of add to that. One of the main changes for the agents who are currently using the buyer broker agreement is, in the past, it didn't say that the buyer was going to be paying for their representing agent directly, or could potentially be on the hook for that, where the new one now is going to do that. They're going to state their fee in that buyer broker agreement as to what that agent is looking for compensation wise. And then how that gets paid is going to be worked out in the offer that gets placed on any particular home. And if a seller can't pay it all, then the buyer will pay the difference, or it can be negotiated a couple different ways.
That's really excellent. You know, the thing that got me on this was two aspects of it. Was the MLS now we can't promote how much I'm going to be paying. So previously in the private remarks on the MLS section, they would say, hey, 2.5% commission, 3% commission, and that was being paid by the seller. No longer can you communicate that in the MLS. That's being stripped out as of August 12th, which is Monday, I think. So that's no longer going to be available to a realtor to post on their listing anymore, but there are rules that are okay with it. So you can put it on your website, on your personal website, on your broker website. I'm giving 2.5% commission for 123 Anywhere Street. And you can put on your brochures and flyers, but you can't link back to the MLS. So I can't collude with Lewis or Lawrence or Sandy about how much I'm going to pay back on commission when I do sell this house. I guess that's the ruling, right?
Yeah, basically. And the main thing too is, well, first of all, I want to call them chicken wings because I don't want to get in trouble for saying commissions, which they try to get us to not talk about.
Sure.
So whether you're charging 2.5 chicken wings or 3 chicken wings, whatever it is, you can place that at this point anyway. You can place it anywhere. It just simply cannot be on the MLS, and it can't be on anything, as you said, that links to the MLS. One of the benefits that I'm going to find is that sometimes there are, and we still need to talk about how this all happens. I know Sandy's in complete agreement with me on the fact that really it's always the buyer's money anyway, because nothing happens without that. But basically, the deal is okay, now I'm losing my point, but the basic is that the buyer is going to pay as to whatever it is. It comes out of their funds. So you can't put it on the MLS. I'm trying to bring myself around to my point. I had one and it left, but we'll get back to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can, so it can't be on disclosures if you hyperlink your disclosures. It can't be, on your website if you hyperlink the website. It can't be on the single property photography site if you link it to the MLS. So, funny workarounds. And I'm not saying we're doing this because that's not supposed to be happening, but people are like, oh, okay, when we get our pictures, if we're going to offer this chicken wings, we'll put 2 apples and a banana in the fruit basket that the photographer takes. And, and the MLS is like, no, you can't have anything that everybody knows is a workaround.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's
put
insane.
It in the lockbox. I think, Lawrence, you said on a sign writer.
You could do it on a sign writer.
That's what people are saying.
Okay.
I think this is going to bring us to where it should be, where agents actually call you.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to show your listing, but and you have to realize some buyers can't afford this extra. There are in the Bay Area, since prices are so high as it is, and so people struggle just to come up with the down payment. It's going to be tricky for them to come up with the additional payment. So it's going to bring it. It's adding its own new issues, but we're going to work through them. And I think it's just going to make, like I said before, it's going to make the top agents more successful, and it's going to make the other agents either go out of business or learn how to be successful and bring this into a professional profession. There's a lot of professions, but it's going to bring us into, that we are doing a service and we are, capable and not used car salesmen. No offense to used car salesmen. If anybody's listening, you're awesome. But, we want to be professionals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The point I was going to make earlier that alluded to was my lights going on and off. I got to be animated, I guess, or it will just keep shutting off on me. So the point I was going to make is it's actually going to help a lot of us that do represent buyers on the buyer side, because some of us feel we are worth X. And oftentimes, especially in some of the housing that I tend to address, there are some agents that only offer to some listing agents that only offer to pay a buyer agent less than what I feel I'm worth, because they're already pre-negotiating what my commission is. I don't even get a say, right?
Right.
Now I'm going to have a say. I know what I'm worth. I'm going to charge what I'm worth, and I will get what I'm worth. I won't work for less. So it's going to actually help increase my income.
That's nice. I dig that. I dig that aspect of it. Another thing to me, like you were saying, Sandy, it goes back to the good old days of actually communicating with somebody. Pick up the phone and talk to me about what's happening. They used to, people used to send faxes out back in the day. Faxes aren't a thing, but I guess emails could be now. Right? But like, hey, new listing and 2.5% commission, or 2.5% to 2.5 chicken wings, or 3 chicken wings, or 6 bottles of wine, or whatever the hell it is.
V-Bucks. Let's use V-Bucks.
Yeah, V-Bucks, right? Or Bitcoins, Dogecoins, whatever. But that's kind of nice. I like that it brings it back to the old school, actual relationships and belly-to-belly conversations with people. I think that's probably something that's been missing for a few years now from both industries, your industry and mine as well.
Definitely.
Right.
So this comes about as of Monday. So people who are putting their homes up for sale now, I was just
whoa. What do you mean Monday?
Monday. End of story is done.
Is it really August? Are we here?
We're here.
We're here. All the hype. It's happening.
I was just at a realtor office before I came here, and they were listing a new home, and then they're like, "Oh, the commission thing is still there. The little button for commissions." I'm like, "That's not going to be there on Monday, guys. That's going away." So they were kind of surprised.
Yeah, our local MLS will get rid of it on the 12th. Other MLSs might not, because it's not really required until the 17th. But our local MLS Listings Inc. is who they are. They want to be proactive and not get in trouble for anything. So they're going to be
They're working through it early.
ahead of the ball and make it happen on the 12th.
And so that's the MLS side of things. I totally dig the whole sign writer thing. I can just see it now. I'm just driving by signs from now on. Open houses, 2% commission, 3% commission, whatever it is on top of the sign writer. So I think that can be interesting. That could be kind of a fun thing to look at from now on.
Yeah, we take Apple Pay, we take Bitcoin.
Right, there you go. Yeah, no, Dogecoin. What was the one that Elon Musk has? The Dogecoin. Yeah. So so I think that's going to be fun. And again, I think mistakes are going to be made. I think people are going to suffer for it a little bit here and there, get kicked in the mouth a couple times, but eventually, I think it's better for the industry. I think. Back to the open houses. So this brings about a lot of change. Now, I help with open houses with my realtor partners, and I know Luis does as well. So now the rules have changed. Now, when somebody walks in, you really have to have them sign in, and you have to ask them, are you represented by somebody? And that has to be a legitimate question you ask people, and this is because the law changes, right? So, Sandy, can you give us some more insight into that and the new changes that are happening for open houses?
Sure. So for open houses, everybody's supposed to sign in. There's a new sheet that is the OHNA-SI, and there's 7 places for signatures on this, and it specifically states, I am not your fiduciary. I am acting as the fiduciary to the seller, and I am not representing you, Mr. or Miss Buyer. And so this sheet just says, yes, you are signing in. It's always good to have somebody sign in anyway, so we know who's in the property. If something's, amiss, then we kind of have an idea on who was in the property anyway.
Or so the lender can spam them every day.
Exactly. Exactly. And, in our office meetings, we're talking about, hey, what if they put down Mickey Mouse or, Donald Duck instead of their actual name? Well, it shows intent on their part that they're still acknowledging you're not their fiduciary. So it still does what it's supposed to do, is getting you off the hook for representation.
Right, because you can't control what they put. You can't say, hey, give me your ID. You're not that authority.
Right.
No,
they're just trying to get away from implied representation. And, there's been lawsuits already that, hey, my client walked into your open house and you told them things about the open house and I'm representing them. And, that's a conflict of interest, and they have a buyer broker agreement with us. Like, whoa. The agent's like, okay, no, we're just showing them the house and answering questions on the condition and how the reports looked. And, well, no, that's applied representation. And, you're going over your boundaries. So you have to be so careful. Now, with that form signed, a couple things can happen. They're like, dude, you're awesome. Lawrence, you're the best. I really like you. I'd love to work with you. Can we see a couple more homes? Well, then great. Then they fill out another form, which is the PSRA, and love acronyms. After this, I'm going to have a PB&J, little R&R. But the PSRA says we can talk about this home and 3 others. So I can show you 3 other homes, and this is just limited representation. Now, they love Lawrence so much after seeing these 3 homes. They're like, we want to sign a buyer broker agreement. Well, 2 things can happen in the buyer broker agreement too. When you sign the actual BRBC, is they can sign exclusive or non-exclusive, which means, and that could be broken down in a bunch of different manners too. Well, we're seeing properties with Lawrence, but we're only saying single family homes. We have somebody else that's showing us condos and townhomes. So you can break it down even more to that, or specific cities. I only want to see single family homes with Lawrence and San Jose. So we can break it down by city or county or, or property type.
Or
so
timeline too, right?
There's a lot of ways to break it down.
20 days or 30 days or whatever it is. We can also do timeline.
Well, you can only go up to 3 months. That's the maximum before you have to get it re-signed.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to address a word that you used there, Ramin. When you said they come in, you have to sign. They have to sign in, and technically they don't have to. There's no law that says they have to. But the way you react if they do not sign in is different from how you can react if they do sign in. So if they don't sign in, basically you can't really tell them anything more than what is already being advertised about the house.
So if it's on a flyer, I could tell them, hey guys, it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,300 square feet on a 6,000 square foot lot. Have fun, enjoy
There
yourself.
you go. There you go. There you go. If you want to know more, either sign in and I can get into a little bit more depth, or if you want to be represented and work with me, then that's a whole different level, and you can take it from there. But
I got
yeah,
a question
they
for you on that.
technically don't have to sign in. That's there's no law that's at this point that says they have to do that.
Okay, I'm pretty animated at open houses. I just like to converse and I like to talk. You know, Sandy has been with me at a couple. I dig like just a basement. I go nuts over basements. I don't know why. Like, hey, check out this cool wine cellar you can have, or like a man room. So can I, as the helper for you at this open house, can I talk about that basement or that this feature? This house was built in 1940. It's amazing. You know, this was one of those director houses in Willow Glen or whatever it is, right? Can I still talk about things like that or no?
Great question. And
Well,
yeah.
I don't know the answer to
Some
that.
of this stuff is to be determined.
I
TBD.
think I think that's a competitive advantage, right? To have a lender there.
But
And
I
that's
guess
my
we gotta keep our
shameless
mouth
plug
shut a
for
little bit.
all lenders out there. Go to the open houses. You can talk about it. I mean,
Well, I
Right.
think it's always a competitive advantage to have a lender at open houses,
Sure.
no matter what or when. I think it's amazing. And I think there's so much to be said for having a lender there.
Yeah.
especially somebody like Ramin, he can also double up as security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never happened. Never happened. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So, so now, the one thing I wanted to ask you guys about, this is material representation. So when you said I can't talk to you materially in a way, aren't you still the salesperson for the sellers? Aren't you able to say, hey, this is a beautiful home, landscaped beautifully in this nice, quiet neighborhood with a pool and tree-lined street? Can you still say those things, or you are not able to say that?
No, once again, it depends on if they've signed in or not. But if they sign in, yeah, you can do that. You just when they sign that open house sign-in sheet, they're basically acknowledging that they know that they are not being represented, that everything they say is not confidential and can be conveyed over to the seller, and that you as the listing agent are strictly working for the seller. So those boundaries are set on that form. Of course, you can still say things about that, but it's only if they don't sign in that you're only limited to tell them the details that are already being advertised about the house. Now, if you happen to be talking to somebody else and they overhear, whatever, we're still human, and all sorts of weird situations are going to happen.
All right.
Right. And they do suspect that people are going to be out there as, like secret shoppers trying to bust us. They just, and I don't know who they are, but so just, all we can do is do our best and represent, in our cases, listing agents, the sellers, to the best of our ability. Now they say, if you want a big bulletin board and post bullet points of amazing features of the home and the property and the area, that's okay to talk about, because you're sharing with one, you share with all. If you have a QR code, or if you're sharing disclosures, you can do that because you're the fiduciary to the seller. You're just doing something that that benefits the seller, but you can't go into it needs a new roof, the plumbing is blah blah blah, unless you have those already bullet pointed out for everyone to see.
Yeah.
But if you're just sharing the disclosures, that's what we've been told that is okay, because we're doing our fiduciary to get as many people to look at the disclosures and decide this is the most amazing house for them. So we can do like an extra bulletin board or bulletin point board that shows the benefits of the neighborhood. Is if everybody can see it, it's all good. So we can share that with everyone. So it's not just a flyer. You can have other associated products and advertising around that can go out to everyone.
Interesting.
I can already see a big Loan Depot bulletin board, all branded nicely with bright letters. Boom, you bring it.
There you
There
go.
you go, vendors. Come on.
Putting those thoughts out there.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Okay. And then finally, do you think that this is going to cause buyers to actually pay commissions, or do you think that the seller's contribution is still going to be a part of the action? So when you guys currently sign contracts, typically these days, you're signing a listing agreement for X wings. I'm going to give you 2 wings to sell my house, and I'm going to give the buyer guy another 2 wings to buy my house, or 3 or 2, whatever it is. I don't know, whatever is typical in our area. Do you think it's still going to be that way? So what advantage do I have as a seller to say, hey man, I want to pay the buyer's commission? And do you think that's still going to be around?
Lawrence, why don't you take this and I'll.
Sure, it won't be advertised on the MLS, but
Sure.
I think, and as agents, we're not really supposed to coerce our clients into doing one way or another. We just can tell them advantages and disadvantages and let them make their own choice. But in reality, if a seller is not going to pay a buyer's agent's fee for service, basically you're going to be limiting the number of buyers who might want to take a look at that property because they simply don't have the money to pay that. So they're going to say, we have to, of course, show them everything, and
Right.
they can make their choice as to whether they want to see this property or not. And so a seller would be, in my mind, doing themselves a disservice to not offer to do that.
So
Lawrence,
your vote is still to have the seller pay the commissions. Is that what you're thinking, Lawrence?
If I were selling my house, you better believe I'd be offering that because I want as many people looking at my property and making offers as possible. Otherwise, again, you'll be taking some buyers off the table, and they may be buyers who can afford a 20% down, but they can't afford that and closing costs and paying their agent all at the same time.
or simply don't want to, right?
Or
And-
simply don't want to. Yeah.
Lawrence, I have a question on that. So what if the buyer, or Sandy, either one of you, what if the buyer says, I'm the buyer, and I say, look, Sandy, just show me houses that offer a commission because I'm not going to pay. I can't afford to pay your commission. How is that going to be handled? I don't want to see houses where I know I have to pay a commission, your commission on.
So that's a great question. So that's easy for us to go in and streamline. Look, I'm looking at these properties. These are the ones I like. Why don't you tell me which one is offering you chicken wings? So we go in there and we can find out, call the agent or look at their different things to see if they're offering it. Now, the big tricky part, this is what not a lot of people are talking about. My seller can offer it or say that they are offering it, but when it comes to the negotiation period, is it really still on the table? Is an offer going to come in that is higher than one that is putting the 3G3 aspect in the contract that shows their buyer broker agreement and shows what they're asking for the seller, even though the seller said, I will offer these chicken wings to the agent bringing in the buyer. At the last minute, they can change their mind.
Of course.
If it's not on there,
If the right offer comes in, yeah.
So during the back and forth of the offer counter offer, it could be taken out. It could be offered as a concession. So the difference between commission, concession is from seller to buyer. Commission is from seller to broker.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
those concessions could, and that's a whole different topic. Concessions could be used for closing costs, home warranty, inspections, whatever the buyer wants them. Is any of that going to go back to the agent to cover the buyer broker? So there's a lot of things that can happen on that aspect too. So it's not just my seller is offering this to the buyer's broker.
Mm-hmm.
So Sandy, can we
That
put
might
that
not happen at the end.
So I'm selling a house for $1 million bucks.
All fluid.
I'm selling a house for $1 million bucks. I'm going to give you 20,000 chicken wings to sell my house. Okay. And then I'm also offering 20,000 chicken wings to the next guy who's going to buy my house. Okay. So now Lawrence comes in and says, hey, I'll buy your house for 800,000 bucks. And I want to pay my own commission for my seller, for my buyer, for my buyer's broker. Right. So now your 20,000 chicken wings are gone, basically from the original sales agreement. Right. And then Lawrence picks up the tab on the 800,000 if I pick his offer, let's say, for instance. Right. Was that what you're saying?
Well, because in the listing agreement, there's no longer an area of reciprocal commission going to a buyer. So there's nothing to say that they have to offer it. Right now, it's on the MLS. We can see it. We print it out. We show, if it comes to an issue, we have it on here. It's in paper. It won't be in paper starting Monday or Tuesday. Monday's the last day. So they don't have to honor that. And even like in Compass, we have a sheet that we bring, and it's an addendum to the listing agreement. And the seller has 3 choices. I will not offer commission at this time. I will not, or I will consider offering it when the offers come in, and that's not the verbiage. They use legal verbiage, or I will offer up to X percentage or dollars. And, but even then, even though it's on an addendum, it's not valid until the offers come in and it comes to the negotiating period.
Everything is negotiable.
Yeah.
It's just as negotiable as the actual asking price of the house. Yes, they're advertising that they want $1 million for the house, but they may not take $1 million. They may say, you know what, I used to want that, but I really want $1,100,000, right? So anything can happen in negotiations.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay. And you're gonna have a cat on your lap while you're doing that too. So.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. So
how about a chocolate lab? I can get a chocolate lab on my lap.
There you go.
He's
he's not happening. Okay, he's not happening. All right, cool.
No chocolate or dark chocolate.
Information. Again, I think it just comes down to we're still going to go to Los Angeles. It's whether we take I-5 to get there or we're going to take Highway 1 to get there, right? So we're still going to LA.
The scenic route
of figuring out how we get there. At the end of the day, we're all going to end up in the same spot. And a lot of realtors that I've met with are not that excited about this, but I think anytime there's change in the marketplace, people kind of tend to shy away from it. But again, I think this is for the betterment, I think, of the industry in itself. More professionalism is going to be coming to bubble up to the top, I think. And the true professionals like yourselves that we have here are really going to just percolate to the top, and people are going to see that and probably give you guys more business as well.
I hope.
Looking forward to it.
I hope, but it's again all about communication and education with our other listing agents, with our buyers, with our sellers, and just communicate everything that's going on. People they hear the media. The media isn't always what's really going on.
Right.
So we need to educate them the best we can. And the only way to do that is keep learning ourselves and keep trying to be the best we can.
And honestly, I think of you and Lawrence as doctors and attorneys, right? I wouldn't just go to, this Palo Alto medical clinic and say, hey, does anybody know anything about hearts in here? And just examine me, right? I would want to see a cardiologist who's got a degree on the wall or something that, says his name in some kind of writing and say, okay, I'll pay you $5,000 for this next test that's going to happen or whatever it is. Same thing with an attorney. If I'm in court, I don't want to represent myself, right? I want somebody who's knowledgeable about the industry and knows the damn laws so he can get me out as quick as possible. And I got to pay my dues to get that to happen. And you guys are similarly poised for that. I think there's so many pitfalls in real estate. And, if you don't know what you're doing and you're going to try to navigate this yourself through the internet and Google and using ChatGPT, good luck to you. I wish you the best. as a sales, as a person who's going to be selling their house, for instance, good luck, man. There's so many laws and regulations that you probably don't know about that my two friends down here know about, and you'd be getting yourself in a sea of trouble without that assistance. And I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
I mean, you mentioned ChatGPT and all that, but let's not forget YouTube University. And you got to understand YouTube. There's a lot of great information on YouTube. I use it a lot to, fix my fence, or do something like that. Okay. But to buy a house, that's a little different to find out the best, terms or guidelines for mortgage loans. That also it's iffy. Because a lot of these YouTubers, they need the click. So they're going to make very clickbaity type of material or content, and they're earning money, and you're sitting there watching. Oh, I can buy a house with no money down and no ratio. Oh, cool. Click. And then you're listening. Well, that content creator is making some money. So I want to point that out. There's so much information out there, but the challenge is figuring out which one's correct, right? Which one's right.
And it's for people that do it all the time, Lou, like Sandy and Lawrence do this for a living. They're doing multiple properties a month, right? Or a week.
Right.
And so they've seen this contract several thousand times, dude. So they know. You and I might have to read it several thousand times to get to where they are, right? And still not picking up the nuances of it.
Yeah, and their boots on the ground, Santa Clara County. I know if I ask Sandy about Oklahoma, she's going to be like, I don't know.
Well, I have a funny story. We have, and I don't know where we are on time, but we got
plenty of time, Sandy.
A listing right now that we have coming up. And it was originally, they wanted to do for sale by owner because she went on the different platforms and she learned how to sell a home. So she contacted my stager, and my stager said, "You're going to do what? No, you're going to call Sandy because Sandy and Joe are going to navigate you through this process, blah, blah, blah." So short story, extra long. They are buying a property. We actually went over the purchase contract today for a property that they're buying, and it's a for sale by owner. And it's funny because she's like, "Oh, how can he know this and that about the property? And are you sure the forms are legitimate? And I don't have much. How did he disclose everything properly?" I'm like, "See, now you know why having a professional agent and the seller actually telling us." When I asked him, "Are you in a high fire zone? Do you have the natural hazard disclosure report?" I don't even know what that is. We're one of those buffoons that thought we can sell it on our own. And when I told her that, she goes, and so it's full circle of where they started, and now where they're, we're making this offer on this property that he's selling it by himself. And I said, "Listen, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but our job is to shield you from that, handle it, and make it a seamless process on your end." But it's funny to hear her reaction now that she's, went with a professional agent, that somebody else is not hiring a professional agent, and how she's so worried about the perception and how the transaction is going to go and the quality of the disclosures and all of that on the other end. So I just thought that was very, very.
I love that story. Yeah, full circle.
Yeah.
And we're living in Disneyland over here in Santa Clara County, where I think, Sandy, what was that one house we had about, I think in January timeframe, it was $1 million, and it was like it needed so much work. So for $1 million in Santa Clara County, you're not going to get much of a house, but $1 million on if you get 2 chicken wings, whatever it is, right? That's $20,000. If you're in court and you're in drunk driving or something, you're trying to represent yourself, good luck, man. You might be doing some jail time. So I'd pay my $20,000 to get out of court. And the same thing with you guys, right? I'd pay my 20 chicken wings or whatever, 20,000 chicken wings to get you guys to help me out and not end up in a lawsuit on a house that's on a landslide hill and ready to fall down at the next rain that happens here. So the stuff that you guys can look out for that I can't see, that I can't even fathom looking for, you guys deal with on a daily basis. So I think people need to understand that it's key to hire somebody who's professional like you guys.
Yeah, and it's not only just what you know right now, but actually what we're doing today is so different from the way business was done even 20 years ago. The number of forms that are used, the things that these forms say, it is a constantly fluid business. So I would not attempt this without using a professional. It just doesn't make sense. There's too much liability.
Yeah.
What was the purchase contract when you started, Lawrence? How many pages?
Oh my gosh, what was it? Maybe six? I think 6 pages.
Nowadays,
What is it
And
now?
they
Like
were,
120?
and some of them were legal size, not letter size. So everything's
Oh,
kind
that's
of
true.
shifted and changed. But yeah, it's a lot different. And when you look at a transaction, I have taken a file and had everything printed out, and I go to all my escrow sign-offs. It's just one of the things about me. I like to be there beginning to end, all the way through. If there's ever any question, I want them to know that I'm there for their, I've got their 6 basically, right, Luis?
Yeah.
Right.
So, I'm there for them. And I bring along a file that's completely printed out, and it's 3-4 inches thick many times, because you've got probably somewhere between 20 to 40 different forms. And then you have your disclosures and the reports that some of them are 50 pages just in one report, for example. It's quite a lot of information that we actually have to deal with. And people have no clue until they actually see it in a folder and they go, is that my deal? Is that my transaction? I'm like, yep, it's here. What do you want? I know right where everything is. Pull it out. So yeah, they have no clue until we start finally educating them, and then our value comes into play.
Lawrence, I think they really appreciate that color coding divider that you put in there, all those dividers, right? All color coded, little.
Thank you for that setup.
Is that what you gave him, Louis?
You're providing me those folders. Is that what you're saying with the color codes?
Oh, with the Loan Depot, green and purple.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, again, I respect you guys quite a bit. And I love that you guys have education, right? You guys have to get how many hours of a year continuing education? And some people may think, oh, they're just taking a stupid class or whatever it is. But it's like 120 hours, right? Something like that. How many hours do you guys have to take every year?
It's every 4 years.
Every 4 years?
Yeah.
So that's quite a bit of time.
Our ethics every 3 years, and our renewals every 4 years. So that's, I just did it. I don't even know how many hours. It was a lot.
Yeah.
But isn't there some CE, like annual CE, or?
Well, it's every 4 years.
It's every 4 years.
You
have to do 8 hours every year.
When you first get your license, you have to do it in 2 years. You have to renew, and then from that point on, it's every 4 years.
That's what I was missing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know but your business is so volatile that you guys have to have insurance on the stuff that you guys do. So hey, it's not just a kid's game where you can do a divorce online and go to getdocs.com and figure out how to do it. It really is a minefield, and you should be properly guided through it, I think. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. I thank you guys so much for joining us. I really appreciate the guidance you guys have given us on this. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more questions. There's going to be a lot of issues, I think, as we ingest these new rules and try to figure out what the landscape looks like. And I'm sure mistakes are going to be made. And I'm sure there's a lot of ambulance chaser lawyers just standing by and pretending to be the next couple to buy the house and walk you through it. Exactly.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure this out as we go along. But again, if you guys are selling your house or trying to buy a house, please look at my 2 friends down here, Sandy and Lawrence. And if you're looking to purchase a house with Louis or myself, please give us a call. We're here to help you guys out. And Louis, you and I are going to be doing a VA thing.
You called me Louis again.
I'm sorry, Louis. I because I have you listed on my phone directly.
So let me tell you how this works. Let me tell you, if I'm drinking tequila, it's Luis. If I'm drinking wine, it's Louis. And, right? So that's really, I hope that helps.
So if you're drinking beer, is it Lou?
Lou, yes, I love that. I'm gonna start using. No, I'm drinking beer. I'm Lou.
I like it.
Yeah, Luis and I are going to start doing some veteran stuff all the way up to Memorial Day, and we're going to be blasting off with a huge veterans drive on Memorial Day, helping our vets get homes. We got some crazy stuff happening at Loan Depot with that. So time come into our little chats and ask questions. If you're a veteran, if you're not, we'd love to help you out as well. So here to help you. How do we get a hold of Lawrence, and how do we get a hold of Sandy?
Sandy first.
Oh, 408-394-5312 or Sandy and Joe at compass.com.
Giddy up. Okay.
Giddy
And
up.
Sir Lawrence.
For me, 408-472-5582, or the email is lawrence@brgrealtycorp.com.
Giddy up, cowboy. And then Louis.
I have Luis Lou. Yeah, I have a I'm luisrenteria.com, but I have a suggestion. I know this is going to take effect next week, Monday or Tuesday, maybe next Wednesday. If Lawrence, Sandy, you guys are available, if we can do a kind of an after action sort of report to see what actually happened, right? Because we're all just talking about it right now. But what do you think? If we can jump on this, do this again, basically.
I would like to do it again. I think that might be a little bit early, especially since the forms won't yet be enforced. The only thing that's going to be enforced as of starting Tuesday is you will no longer see it on our MLS system as far as what the commission is.
I see.
So that's starting Tuesday. So by Wednesday, it might be a little early, but I mean, I'm always willing to party. If you guys want to have a
let's do it.
conversation, I'm up to it. I'm just saying we won't have much experience at that point. It'll be a few days, a week or about a week and a half until we really are seeing the effects of now these forms are required starting August 17th.
That's right. It's 17.
Yeah.
We were joined by the venerable Mark Blau. He said,
I know. What?
Mark, if you can go ahead and type in the chat, we'll throw you up on here and have Sandy answer that, or Lawrence. And I think my lovely wife, Narika, also said, awesome. Thank you, Narika, for joining us. I appreciate that.
Oh,
Mark's been gone for a bit, so I think his voice is out. But you can still type, right, Mark? So type something in the damn chat. But anyway, if you guys are cool, we will chat later. Please join us again. I'll put it on a LinkedIn event and also a Facebook event here coming soon to a theater near you. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ramin. Thank you, Sandy.
thank you.
Great to see you, Lawrence. Appreciate you all.
Good to see you again, buddy.
All right.
See you guys.
Happy Friday.
Thank you,
Happy
guys.
Friday.